Welcome to today's video, which is a sketchbook tour. This is my second sketchbook tour. I did start this sketchbook originally in 2021 and then I kind of abandoned it after about maybe 10 pages and went to a different sketchbook. That sketchbook tour is already up, as you can see here. So I would say that sketchbook is a lot more kind of safe. I stuck to what I knew, didn't really go outside of the box. Yeah, I felt like I was quite nervous with that sketchbook, whereas this sketchbook, when I went back to it in 2024, it's my chaotic one. There's some ugly art in there, there's some good bits of art. I tried new mediums, I tried new basically everything. I was always a pencil sketching portrait kind of gal, and this sketchbook has a bit of everything. It introduced me to watercolour, it introduced me to acrylic pens, it introduced me to drawing straight away with kind of matte black markers. Yeah, and then there's obviously some pencil sketches in there as well. Some things I only took 5 minutes on, some things I took a couple of hours on. So yeah, I think this is really my experimental sketchbook, and I think I use this sketchbook how I feel I want to continue to use sketchbooks. So I really hope that you like it. The book itself is an A5 Strathmore book and it's mixed media, and I will say that I'm a huge fan of this sketchbook. I had no issues with the paper at all. I would just highly recommend it if you're someone who is chaotic and you like to work in different mediums and kind of, yeah, you don't know how you want to approach a sketchbook, you just want to try everything and anything. I would really recommend this book. The only thing that did run through to the other side was markers.
Okay, so welcome to my sketchbook. This was originally a black sketchbook. So like I said, it's the Strathmore hardcover mixed media A5. And it was originally in black, but I painted over it in silver. I added this sticker from, I'm pretty sure, Typo. I think this is from Typo. It's like a padded sticker. And then I added some foil around it. And I obviously put the number 01 because it was originally my first proper sketchbook, as in a sketchbook I started dedicated to finishing and actually experimenting with. Like I said in the intro, there is a second sketchbook that actually got finished first. So as you can see, started in June 2020, finished in February 2024. That makes it look like an obscene amount of time spent on a sketch. Obviously, we know what the context is there. I did put some goals in, so I think we can just skip over that first one. Not accomplished. Different mediums. I absolutely did use different mediums. I'm actually really proud of that. I always stuck to pencil sketch, like graphite, because that was my comfort zone. But yeah, I've tried urban sketching. I didn't do that at all in this one, so that was a no. Go out of my comfort zone. I did do that, definitely. And don't be a perfectionist. I definitely was not a perfectionist. There are multiple pieces in here, which I don't like. So for the first page, I did just use a drawing that was floating around on a piece of paper that I really liked and I didn't want to lose. So I thought, well, I might as well stick it in on the first page because it takes away that kind of first page trauma. So this is a close-up kind of section portrait of Billie Eilish, I think. Pretty sure it was, but it was from 2020. So well, to be fair, this was probably from even before then. But I could probably do a slightly better job now, but I'm happy with how it turned out considering it was so many years ago. And yeah, I feel like the eye, you can tell that it at least gives Billie Eilish vibes around the eye. I did stick a couple more pictures in again because I had stuff floating around. So I have this balloon dog coloured pencil drawing here, and these are the colours that I used. Would have also been helpful if I wrote down what coloured pencil brand it was that I used, because I do not remember anymore. And then this was just a really quick sketch from Bambi. And I think I originally was going to colour this in and stuff, but then I just kind of liked how just simple it was, so I kept it as it was. I do actually start drawing in this sketchbook, I promise. So this is a pencil drawing portrait of one of my friend's daughters, who is gorgeous. And weirdly, I find it easier to draw other people's kids or like just random, I don't know, reference photos of children than my own, because I panic more if I'm trying to draw people that I know. So this I think was just me practicing with coloured markers, and it was just like a 5-minute little sketch thing. And this was a coloured pencil drawing of lips because it was at a time where this is what everyone was drawing and I wanted to give it a go. And I actually really like how this turned out. Yeah, I've never really done anything like it again, but I think it looks pretty cool. Here is just using the Barrington Barber drawing for beginners or something like that, and it was 5-minute animal sketches. And yep, so there's a hare, I think, or a rabbit, not sure which one, a horse and an owl. This one was a random doodle because it was meant to be from a trip from an art gallery and I was meant to draw whilst I was there, but then I panicked and couldn't do it. So I then stuck a couple of things in, but they'd all like faded, so I ripped them off and it just kind of damaged the page. So I just used acrylic pens and drew some Marmite because why not? Okay, so this was a tutorial like I think it was just like a YouTube paint with me type thing. And I'd never used acrylic paints before, and this was my first time using them, and so I wanted to try it with a tutorial. Annoyingly, like I said, this was several years ago, so I really can't remember where I found this. If I can find it, I'll put it down below, but it was several years ago. But I actually quite like how it turned out. I think I really like the fact that the sunset reflections are in the water and that you've got these kind of distant mountains. And yeah, I think for a first go at painting, which is something I'm really not as confident in, or I quite like how it turned out. I'm pretty happy with it. This one, I don't really know what to say about this one. I've put calm down, she's reaching for the top shelf after having a shower. And this is dated 2021, so I must have literally just stuck a couple of things in 2020, abandoned it, come back in 2021, done some drawings, and then abandoned this book again, which sounds about right because, you know, ADHD. So yeah, it's just a woman, censored, obviously. This was me trying to relax a bit. So like I said, I've always been a graphite portrait drawer and try and make it as realistic as possible. And I wanted to get away from that because I would spend 10, 11 hours on one drawing. And when you know that that's how long you spend every time you sit down, it kind of puts, at least for me, it was putting me off starting any art because I knew I'd need a huge chunk of time to finish it. And if I don't finish it, I get frustrated. So I was trying to just be more free and doodle and just enjoy being creative. So I just Googled some flowers, or probably Pinterest some flowers, and did some fine liner drawings, and then like intentionally did really messy watercolor. And then yeah, this is the Morning Glory flower, which is the flower for my daughter. So like her birth month. So she got a big page. I hate this spread, I promise. The pictures get so much better. Like the end few pictures, the last few pictures in this book are like my absolute favorites. But yeah, this is my dog. I did a 15-minute sketch and I did not do him any justice. This is a tiger shark, I think. Do you know what? I don't hate it, but it kind of reminds me of Linda from Bob's Burgers. I think it's the mouth and the eyes, but it reminds me of Linda. And this was a seal, or it was meant to be a seal, but as I've put here, it was too ugly to be shown. I quite like this spread. Again, I was trying to just keep things simple and I wanted to do a double page spread. So I just was looking at pictures on Pinterest of foods and I just tried to do them in watercolor. So I was very scared of painting in watercolor at this point. So for me, this is really going out of my comfort zone massively. I really didn't understand watercolors. I didn't understand how to work with them, but I just wanted to work some color into my sketchbook. And I quite like how this one turned out. Like, I quite like that little cocktail there on the top left. I think she's pretty cute. I think the cookie's quite cute. Yeah, I'm quite happy with how a couple of them turned out. I think the little purple smoothie is quite cute as well. This is a double page spread, kind of. So this is a spread or a page for Gilmore Girls. So obviously you've got Yale, you've got Luke's, you've got I Got Hit by a Deer, you've got the Jeep that they drove, books, etc. And then this one is for Schitt's Creek. So you've got the Rosebud Motel, you've got Folding the Cheese. So yeah, a little bit Alexis, which is great. I love that scene. Yeah, this is just a really, if you're bored and you want to do some kind of creative activity but not really have to use your brain all that much, I would highly recommend doing something like this. Like watch a film, watch a TV series, and create a spread of some of the things, some of the quotes, some of the key I don't know, key characters or key elements from whatever it is that you're watching. And it's just really fun. It's a nice way to spend your evening. This one was just a 20-minute life still sketch of my little man, Pedro. He's a 2-kilogram Chihuahua. He has passed away. He passed away not that long ago. a couple of weeks ago, and I've done a dedicated picture to him in this book, and it is by far the best picture I've ever done, and I'm incredibly proud of it. But yeah, this was obviously a life sketch. He was still with us when I did this one, and this was me just trying to use markers, trying to see if they bled through the page. They did. I don't actually mind this thing. I just wish I hadn't wrote Wild and Free, because it's a little bit like Live, Laugh, Love vibes. So I kind of wish I hadn't done that, but I don't mind this bit. It's fine. I stuck in a quick watercolor illustration that I had done, which is probably the first time I did watercolor and genuinely quite liked how it turned out. Now, I did keep it super basic. It was like one color down for each section. I didn't really do much with the shadowing or anything like that. I relied on the pen for that, but I really like this little guy under his mushroom. Yeah, I think it's quite cute. I don't know if I got this idea. I probably got this idea off of Pinterest. I've got no idea. I don't remember doing it at this point. Then I was like, I'm going to try the 100 heads challenge. I did 100 heads, so heads challenge number 1, and that was it. I didn't do any more. These two are, again, stick-ins of ones that I just found floating around. So a close-up of a portrait, and then just a graphite pencil portrait. Don't know who this is of. I think it was just a random reference photo. Pluto. And then this cute little kitten. So I saw this picture of kitten on, it just looked, I think it was on Pinterest, and it just looked so happy and just so content with life. And I was like, oh, he's cute. So I wanted to draw the kitten. This is just a really quick pen sketch from the Barbie movie. And then this is, I think, still from that book I mentioned at the start, the Big Drawing for Beginners book, or something like that. But it was just practicing some really basic, really quick, not overthinking it features. And I quite like this page. Like, it's obviously nothing really to shout about, but I just like that I didn't overthink it too much and kept it pretty simple. So this is the picture I was referring to about a second ago. So this was I drew this a couple of days after my dog had passed away. He was only 5, and it wasn't a very nice way that he passed, and we were all super sad, and I just wanted to create something personal. But yeah, this is little Pedro. I think this picture only probably took me about an hour or two, and I'm really proud of it. It looks exactly like him. I showed my mum and I showed my boyfriend, and they both cried. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this photo turned out, and I miss him a lot. This is just some acrylic pen things, doodles. I really like the little ladybug, in fairness. I hate this. Hate it. I quite like him. That's average. Hate this. This one was the bane of my life, so I don't even want to show it. It's embarrassing. Originally, it was Rachel and Chandler, and originally I got Rachel's face spot on. Like, it looked exactly like Jennifer Aniston, but I really cocked up Chandler's. So I then tried to redo Chandler's, but then I ended up rubbing out some of her face because it all kind of got blurred and lost. Then I redid her face, and now it looks nothing like her at all. And Chandler also doesn't look anything like Chandler, so I am going to skip over this page because it's embarrassing. This was a merge of different pictures I found on Pinterest. So I'd seen like someone had drawn a grumpy frog, someone else had drawn a cowboy frog, and someone else had drawn like a frog waiting on a log. So I just kind of combined them all. And what's funny is when I was drawing it, I was like, I'm going to give him blue eyes like my boyfriend, because I feel like if my boyfriend was a frog, this is the kind of vibe he would give. And before I painted it, because again, I'm not very good at painting, before I painted it, I went and showed my boyfriend the sketch. And before showing him, I was like, right, I think I'm drawing what you would look like as a frog right now, and I want to show you it before I potentially ruin it when I put colour on. And I kid you not, I was like holding it to my chest so you couldn't see it. And he did this exact expression, sat at his computer, he crossed his arms, did his little glare, and went, why, what are you drawing? And I was like, can you please keep exactly how you are sat right now when I show you it? And I showed him it, and he was like cry laughing because he looked legitimately like this in human form. This one is acrylic pens, so acrylic paint pens. So got a fried egg, a strawberry, and an orange slice. They're okay. Like there are hoo-hoo pen markers. Okay, I'm gonna listen to me. I'm gonna believe me. I obviously didn't. So I did actually stick 2 pages together, which is why you can see the tape because oh no, it was markers because it went completely through. Then I tried to do another one with, I think it was markers again, and then that it wasn't a savable experience. So I thought, screw it. So I just stuck them together. So to try and cover up some of the marker bleed through, I just painted it green, and I was like, what can I draw on top of the green? I had zero plan, like literally zero plan. And then I went on Pinterest, saw some pen sketches of a fish, and I thought, well, I'm just going to draw that. So I'm assuming they're in some kind of murky lake. But honestly, I think I would have drawn the fish regardless of what colour they had put down on here. So yeah, I've just done fish that kind of look like they're singing maybe like Bohemian Rhapsody or something. Do you know what? It's weird, but I, for some reason, really like it. And then this is a fine liner sketch page, and I think this is Copic black marker pen, I think. Yeah, it was a Copic marker, like acrylic paint marker, because it didn't go through. It was just under the sea themed. I love a themed doodle page. So I've got an octopus here. He's quite cool. Some bubbles. This is just like seaweed or sea plants. A seahorse, a shell with a pearl, and oh yeah, and a spotted eagle ray, which I love. Not to toot my own horn, but I love this spotted eagle ray. I think he's pretty cool. So this again was me just playing around with watercolors. Like I said, I'm not super confident with this, but I definitely got better towards the end of the book. And this was just a 10-minute painting that is just a woman on the beach from behind. It definitely was inspired from a picture from Pinterest, which was slightly different, but like the composition was very similar. This was just a 20-minute throwing some paint down because I wanted to do something watercolor beach scene. Oh, I was sat watching Friends on a weekend. I'm pretty sure I was a little bit hungover, and I did a double page spread for Friends because it holds a very good, lovely place in my heart forever. So I've just done some of the key things from Friends. If you're a Friends fan, you'll hopefully recognize most of these. And then I've just kind of got some quotes with it as well. So, you broke my fridge. And then obviously Monica had this on her head, and Chandler said, I love you. He's her lobster, smelly cat, all of those type of things. So yeah, quite like this, and like I said, would really recommend it as a fun little activity. Oh god, I hate this page. So this is me trying to get out of my comfort zone. So I was drawing straight in with pen with no pencil being led down first, and I was using acrylic pens. I think I used acrylic pens for these, and I do not like them. I hate these two. I actually don't mind that nose. I think the nose is all right, and I don't mind this tiny little side profile here, but I hate that one. So I don't mind this one and this one, but the rest are atrocious. And then this was a 30-minute sketch, pencil sketch, just from a reference image, which I think she's quite good. I'm quite happy with that. This drastically improved my watercolor painting because I've never been to art school. I am 100% making it up as I go along, and this was such a basic task, but seeing how the colours actually looked in my watercolour palette on paper then meant that all my next paintings, which are watercolour, they looked how I wanted them to look because I actually knew what colours I was using rather than guessing. And then I looked more into the colour theory wheel and all of that type of stuff. So I do feel like, not all of them, but I've definitely got towards the end a couple of really nice watercolour based pictures. And actually, I really enjoy using watercolour now. Oh, this is chaos. So this, I think I was hungover when I did this as well. I'm not always hungover, by the way. So yeah, I just saw some paintings of, I love sriracha and I love chili sauce, and I'd seen a lot of people had done paintings and stuff on it, so I used my acrylic pens and just did some hot sauce on a watercolor background. This is atrocious, but it was just pool day vibes, and I don't know why, because I live in England and I definitely don't have a pool, and even if I did, we'd be able to use it like twice a year, so I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure why I did pool day vibes, in all honesty. I love these. Obviously, very different vibes, okay? Very different vibes. So I've got avocado, huge avocado fan, love avocado. This was watercolor, and I really like how it turned out. And then this is, annoyingly, it's transferred, which is super irritating, but This is Plankton singing Pink Pony Club by Chapel Roan. And if you are a Chapel Roan fan and you have TikTok, you'll understand this a lot more than other people, because there is an AI cover of Plankton singing Pink Pony Club, and it is weirdly good, and I just thought it was hilarious. And then people were making like AI images of him singing it in his little boots and hat, and I loved it, so I thought I'm gonna paint that. So that was, I think, a Friday night or a Saturday night I spent using my acrylic pens making this, and I think he looks fabulous, if I do say so myself, and every time I look at this page it proper makes me laugh. So this is my rat page. So I saw a little drawing of a rat that was yawning and I thought it was adorable, so I referenced that. I basically, I suppose, copied it. It looks very similar to the original one. Then there's a sleeping rat, and then there's cheese, and I just thought it was cute, so I did like chunky and tired and just added some little dots around it. This is just a like 20-minute watercolor painting of a dolphin. It gives me like cute would go on the bedroom wall of a kid's room type dolphin. So this is what I was referring to when I said like I actually started really enjoying watercolors and figuring out how you actually use them. So this is a fried egg with seasoning, so chives, chilies, peppers, etc. Egg on toast with avocado. I love this picture. This wasn't from any kind of tutorial. This was just me kind of making it up as I went along. These were tutorials from this Instagram account. Not these two, but these two. And so this was a croissant one, and it was kind of showing you like when to use wet on wet, when to use wet on dry, or whatever it might be, whatever the methods were to kind of create this effect. And I love how it turned out. And the same with the cookies. Again, this was a little tutorial which I loosely followed. I didn't follow it exactly like I did with this one, but kind of loosely followed it and the principles of it. Then there's some coffee beans and a mug of coffee, and I just really like how this turned out. And what I really want to do is create a page, but maybe in like a bigger sketchbook with multiple breakfast items, and then kind of scan it, print it, and having it in my kitchen when I move. So yeah, I do really, really like this page. Big fan of this page. Oh, and we've hit the last page, and this was acrylic pens of SpongeBob saying bye, because, you know, it's the end of the sketchbook.
Thanks very much for watching. I am going to be making a video based on starting my new sketchbook, so if that is something that you're interested in, definitely subscribe if you aren't already, and hopefully I will see you in another video very soon.